I think one of the most interesting developments of the internet has been the polarity between hot takes and cold takes. You'd think that people would be willing to listen to other people's opinions. Not on the internet, apparently. Hot takes can be received well, cold takes can be received poorly. Really, you never know what kind of response you're going to get. Regardless of the response, though, negativity tends to draw more eyes than positivity. One channel that exhibits this perfectly is Shin Shaman. Shin Shaman, formerly known as Shaman Xeed, Xeed? We'll just call him Shaman, is a commentary/review channel covering primarily video games, anime, and manga. His channel was created back in March of 2017, but his first video wouldn't come out until October of the following year. Since then, he's been consistently putting out videos every week or so. However, his channel didn't come to my attention until one of my friends sent me his video discussing Halo Infinite. Before we get to that though, let's start by taking a look at his most viewed video, why I'm on a higher level and how you can adapt from a drone mentality.
What's going on YouTube? But it's your boy back at you again with another video, and you already know who it is. But in case you don't, this is none other than Shaman X.
Firstly, I genuinely can't tell if he intentionally fumbled with his mic or not, but it certainly got a smile out of me when I first heard it. Secondly, the fact that he only addresses himself as Shaman X is a bit of a disappointment. And thirdly, this holier-than-thou air he gives off will unfortunately continue throughout the entirety of the video.
You know, I just got to thinking a lot, just articulating my thoughts for the longest, and then I just realized that it's my duty in life to relay my greatness to people, complete and utter superiority, and you drone loser motherfuckers. Like I just want to teach you motherfuckers how to be a godlike specimen like me.
Wow. I mean, there's not really much to be said here, is there?
You people need to understand. When you reach a certain caliber in life, and you do things that people might envy you for, you need to understand that they're the sorry excuses. They're the worthless ones. You're the one on the higher plane. I need to confident boost you motherfuckers.
We're about a minute into the video now, but I'm sure you can already tell what Shaman is implying here. If people are accusing you of having a bad take, don't just embrace it. Call them a drone and tell them to get on your level. I won't bore you with much more of this, as most of the video is simply rewording what he's already said, but there are a few other gems.
You know, all of the ancient civilizations, all of the ancient manuscripts, you want to know what was implanted into all of their culture? My birth. My birth is foretold through all the ancient manuscripts, all the ancient civilizations. They gathered around, prophesizing that a legendary hero would spawn upon this chaos world of nothing of ignorant fools, retarded motherfuckers, and bam, what do you get? You get me, a deity worth craving, a deity worth worshipping. And that's just 100% undisputed facts.
I have to say, if he's trying to talk like a supervillain archetype, I'd say he's nailed that 100%.
Hell, I don't even think with my aid I could change that. Like, some of you people just lost causes. Like, you should just kill yourself, to be honest.
Portray themselves as an underdog? Check. Talk like a supervillain? Check. Treat people with kindness? No check. It's no surprise really though, with the negativity that oozes from every corner of his channel just by glancing at it, I'm not surprised that he's telling his audience to kill themselves for having bad taste.
Like since my previous video, like the amount of dislikes I've been getting have only risen. They haven't declined, they've risen. I barely get likes on my videos, so fuck you bitch ass motherfuckers.
Earlier I said his first video was in March of 2017, but he mentions videos. I don't know if that was a slip of the tongue or if he has privated or deleted videos out there. All I know is he should not be surprised by the amount of dislikes when he's talking to people like this.
John, I'm not, I'm not even mad because, like, I know you people are special. Like, you're fucking retarded. You don't know any better. Oh shit, fuck.
Now, who would have guessed that this 8.5 minute long rant that has no cuts, no edits, nothing besides a still image would include an unexpected phone call? And his defense of it is, perfect.
Oh shit, yeah, I'm back. Hey, I'm not. That's how you know my videos got. Like, I will not be editing my shit. My shit be unscripted. Like, any fucking stuttering, any of that bullshit that you hear, that's just 100% fucking authentic. I don't need to do that fake ass, that corny ass shit where I have to edit my videos, make a script. Like, fuck all that. I'm real. I'm authentic. I ain't one of these bitch made motherfuckers. I keep shit real.
Oh, so editing and scripts are corny now. Man, I wish I knew that before I wrote up this script and edited this video and all that. Could have saved all that time while also being supposedly godlike. Alright, we've probably spent enough time in this video. Let's move on to that Halo video I mentioned.
Back again.
Whoa, Shaman, what happened to your mic, bud? Not to say that your old one was anything special, but you sound like a different person. Or maybe he just had a cold that day. Also, really love the art piece you put together for this one. Definitely hanging that up on my mom's fridge.
To expose the truth to these garbage ass fanboys on these garbage ass games in this garbage ass modern day game industry. I mean, you people are truly fucking pathetic.
10 seconds into the video, and he's already thrown me for a loop. First thing is he's calling a game trash that, at the time of his video, didn't even have a release date. There was just a couple cinematics and a few minutes of gameplay. Now, plenty of people had their concerns after being greeted by Craig the Brute, but to call the game garbage seems absurd. Second thing, what is he exposing here? The truths to everything Halo related? I'm sure he'll explain further here soon enough.
Halo in general has always been a bog standard generic FPS. I mean, it just takes so many liberties and takes so many things from better games. You know, it's ripping off Assassin's Creed, it's ripping off Prince of Persia, it's ripping off System Shock. It's just a watered down generic FPS that's never been good. Like, I've never understood the hype for this garbage ass franchise.
It's ripping off what now? I think Shaman is the first person to look at Halo as a franchise and say, yeah, see, this is just a clone of everyone's favorite 2D platformer from 1989, Prince of Persia.
Even as a kid, I thought this series was corny as hell. I've always thought Halo was corny. I never thought it was cool. I never thought it was badass. I felt like a complete loser playing this game as a kid.
Halo is corny? First he calls editing videos corny. Now Halo is corny too? Such a weird word to describe a game. He sounds like someone's grandfather describing hip-hop music.
Only the die-hard fanboys will disagree, and that's my problem. You know, it's always the die-hard fanboys who will shield for garbage, who will play the same regurgitated shit and think that it's specifically okay to play this garbage just because it's their favorite franchise. I mean, no, it's the same shit you've seen 1,000 times. This is my problem with fanboys. You people are losers.
The same regurgitated shit you've seen 1,000 times. Sounds a lot like something you mentioned earlier. What was the name of it again?
Fanboys do not think with their brains. They think with their heart. They think just because, well, I grew up with this is my favorite franchise, that automatically undermines the actual shitty quality of the product. No, it's going to be shit regardless of how you feel.
Couldn't this be said about any game you played during your childhood? Sure, there are probably plenty of Halo fans that are blinded by nostalgia, but there are also plenty who have gone back and replayed the games as adults and still believe that they're quality games. Plus, for all we know, Shaman could have grown up playing stuff like Assassin's Creed and is blinded by his nostalgia for that.
This is why I really hope you fanboys get the medical attention that you desperately need. I mean, you people clearly have some type of mental fatigue in your frontal lobe to think that a game like this is going to be good. Your brain clearly isn't all the way there.
Ah, so now we've moved on to claims of mental disabilities among Halo fans. Real sound argument if you ask me. By the way, you probably haven't realized that even though this video's title and thumbnail both address Infinite, he hasn't said a word offering any valid criticism or concerns towards the game.
Halo Infinite has done nothing to innovate. It's just ripping off a whole bunch of games. It's ripping off MMOs. Like, this game is going to be garbage. This is going to be one of those games that people hype up for a long time, talk about for maybe a few months and never play again. I guarantee you the player base in this game is going to be dead, if not dead on arrival. You people are losers.
Ooh boy, there's a lot to touch upon here. Nothing to innovate. If you ask anyone who's played more than one Halo game, they'll tell you how different they are from one another. Each Halo game could spawn a series of its own similar to COD, Assassin's Creed, or any other popular franchise. But instead, they're constantly trying new things, working to keep things fresh. It's ripping off MMOs. Dude, I don't even know what you're trying to say with this. I wish he'd elaborate more on this, but he doesn't, of course. Does Shaman even know that every Halo has a campaign? And then he says the hype will die quickly. If this was a standalone title from Microsoft, something like Sunset Overdrive or ReCore, I could maybe understand. But Halo has quite literally solidified Xbox as a legitimate company. Even if Infinite is the worst selling game in the franchise, it will still sell millions of copies, I guarantee. From here, he doesn't say much else besides claiming that he doesn't fanboy over certain consoles, and that Xbox has no confidence in their console due to their lack of exclusives. I could go on about his half-assed arguments, but let's turn our attention to a more positive video. Yes, you heard that right. There actually are videos from Shaman praising pieces of media. While there are only a few of them, I still think they're worth looking at. His most recent positive video was on Amazon Prime's Invincible.
So Invincible is the latest piece of media entertainment that has taken the world by storm. And I just gotta say, why exactly? What is the fuss about?
Shaman, don't do this.
What separates Invincible from the thousands of other comic book heroes, superheroes, TV shows? What makes this fundamentally different? What makes people suck this off like it's no tomorrow, like it's some unique, prevalent, misunderstood masterpiece that nobody gets?
Shaman, don't be doing this. I read the title, I saw the thumbnail. Don't be lying to me.
I mean, the comic's been out for over a decade and counting, and nobody was talking about this shit, despite it being made by the guy who made that garbage Walking Dead. Now all of a sudden that the Amazon original cartoon comes out, and now people are making all of these analysis videos, this and that. You know how YouTube is. Something popular comes out, you get a whole bunch of millions of analysis videos of this and that, how this works, why this is fundamentally great, this and that, rinse and repeat. That's how YouTube works. Whenever something popular comes out, here comes the insert obligatory analysis videos. That's just typical of modern YouTube.
So you may have noticed that this is in fact not a positive video, but a negative video in disguise. You may have also noticed the irony of his last statement. Whenever something popular comes out, here comes the insert obligatory analysis videos. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this video you're addressing this trend in one of those obligatory videos?
Invincible is just a series that is getting hyped up by people who do not know or understand or have a basic fundamental understanding of the greatness of the classic OG original American comics. Pre-1999, of course. Anything after 1999 is complete trash, but...
Oh, how could I have forgotten the classic X series is trash because it wasn't released during the golden era of its respective medium argument. How silly of me.
I mean, again, Invincible is just as generic as it gets. It stars this Superman ripoff, Invincible, this Spider-Man Superman hybrid ripoff. He gets powers. He has a dad murdering people with a whole bunch of shitty bad dialogue, a whole bunch of shitty petty drama. And it's just pretentious, corny, and juvenile.
Wait, what? You're telling me that a superhero whose powers are similar to Superman, whose character is similar to Spider-Man, and whose superhero dad is actually a villain in disguise is generic? I may not be the most knowledgeable in superheroes and comics, but there are likely very few series, if any, aside from Invincible, that has this premise. Also, what is it with you and corny? Do you need a thesaurus to find you some new words? Maybe a dictionary so you don't misuse words like generic and trash?
But again, the main reason people are sucking this series off is because it has a lot of blood and gore. This series appeals to all the edgy emo weirdos who think a series having blood and gore, tons of it, equals maturity. That doesn't, newsflash, that doesn't equal maturity. Just because something has blood and gore galore, that doesn't mean it's mature. In actuality, that's the opposite of mature.
This is probably the first time we've seen Shaman almost make a good argument. He claims that a series isn't mature just because it has violence and gore. I can only partially agree with this. While a mature series typically does require other elements to be worthy of being called mature, which Invincible does have, by the way, you can't also say that something like Doom Eternal isn't mature just because its main appeal is its gore. The other half of his statement is just completely wrong. Invincible isn't popular just because there's some blood here and there. It's because the extreme violence is backed by great writing and characters, extraordinary animation, and, as detailed before, a one-of-a-kind premise and story.
And then the main antagonist, Omni-Man, it's crazy how people are sucking this guy off. A generic Superman ripoff. Like, can we please stop with the evil Superman ripoffs? It's so corny. It's been played out since the 1980s. People are acting like this is some revolutionary character. He's Superman. What if evil? Superman, but what if evil? Like, that hasn't been done to death. I can show you all the Superman ripoffs and then some. Evil Superman has been something done to death, I'm telling you. Even DC themselves have ripped off evil Superman concept. Like, it's nothing new, original, or unique.
Again, almost had a semblance of an argument here. Yes, I will agree that the Superman but evil cliche has been done to hell. But again, Omni-Man is far from generic. I don't think there's a single comic book series where the main protagonist is raised and trained by the main antagonist until their conflict of ideals cause them to duke it out.
What is so psychologically different? I mean, that's a serious question. What is so psychologically different?
That's it, Shaman. After you finish your homework, we're going down to the local library, checking out the biggest dictionary they have available, and you're reading that thing front to back. When you say psychologically different, I get the gist of what you're saying, but bro, you sound like you're trying so hard to sound intelligent. That's what most, if not all, of your videos can be boiled down to, right? Trying way too hard to sound smart when you're just talking out of your ass the whole time.
But that doesn't change the fact that Invincible is complete dog shit. One of the worst superhero comics of all time. Some no-name, worthless, comic made by a hack creator that people started sucking off because they don't have anything else to watch. If this came out when something like Endgame came out, that trash movie, nobody would give a fuck about this cartoon. You people are just so dropped for content that you're just scraping at the bottom of the barrel to find anything interesting.
Man, at this point, I just feel like we're treading over the same ground. 1. This no-name creator you reference is named Robert Kirkman, who you even mentioned co-authored The Walking Dead. 2. Invincible and Endgame are two very different beasts, as one is an animated series and the other is a live-action movie, and thus they can coexist. 3. While people may be starved for content, Invincible isn't popular just because there's nothing good to watch. It's popular because it's the only good thing to watch. I'm obviously making a stretch here, but I think we can both agree that I'm making more sense than Shaman is. Just like before, I could rip apart more of his points, but then I'd just be like Shaman, repeating myself and rambling until the outline of an argument forms. I think we should now acknowledge the scariest part of Shaman's channel, the comments section. This is the part where I would have shown you the comments to the first vid we watched, but sadly they're turned off. Whether that was his choice or YouTube's, we'll never know. I like to think that it was him though. It is funny to also point out all the random, completely unassociated tags he put on the video, likely his attempt to gain mainstream traction. However, the Halo Infinite video does have comments, and they're a riot. Thankfully, there actually are some that show signs of intelligent life, and I even left my own to prove that I, in fact, am not an Xbox fanboy. There were a handful that weren't fortunate enough to prevent their brains from leaking out of their ears, though, sadly. Lamau, this video is hilarious. So many salty, emotional Xbot fanboys. Not sure what an Xbot is, but I hope the fanboys of it get some support. They sound like they're in a bad place. To be honest, I have the exact same mentality. I despise any trendy video games as well. I don't know why, but I think it is sickening seeing how people obsess over a singular shitty game just because everyone else does. Cruz, I think you're a bit confused. Halo is not a shitty game just because it's popular and you don't like it. Games that are fundamentally broken are shitty. Only brainless fanboys will get hurt by this factual video. Yes, it's very brainless to get upset at someone claiming a hot take to be objectively correct. Halo was always a corny series, never understood the hype. Shit like Time Splitters, a better FPS, was overshadowed by it. Corny? Now, where have we heard that before? Just out of curiosity, I checked out this Tyson guy's channel. Would you be shocked to hear that his channel was created just months before Shaman's Halo video was uploaded and features no content? The Invincible video has a couple similar comments, but this is the only one worth mentioning. I read this trash, biggest mistake of my life, only popular cause of the show, despite the comment being over 10 years old now. I'm really confused by this logic. Is it trash because it took over a decade for an animated adaptation to be picked up, or is it trash just because it's a bad story? This comment pretty much just mirrors Shaman's points from his video, and it doesn't make any more sense here than it does there. I would take a look at more of Shaman's channel, but I don't want to subject you guys, or myself for that matter, to more of his horrendous takes. Plus, I know I'd just be repeating the same criticisms but in different contexts. Shaman is an interesting case study. Anyone with half a brain cell could tell you his strategy. He takes a popular IP, records himself calling it shit, uploads it onto YouTube, and watches the views roll in. His channel size is pretty humble, but just over the past few years he's gotten tens of thousands of views over these silly videos. If you don't believe that negativity can breed success, just take a look at channels like Angry Video Game Nerd, Nostalgia Critic, Angry Joe Show, Jim Sterling, even early JonTron had similar elements. However, the problem with Shaman comes in two forms, the first one being the message he tries to relay. When Shaman is speaking to you, the audience, in one of his videos, he puts you into one of two groups, the smart people and the dumb people. If you agree with him, you're smart, if not, you're dumb. Videos like these simply aren't fun to watch, as they make you feel like you're being personally attacked. Now take one of Mother's Basement's videos on Sword Art Online, for example. He not only points out the objective flaws with the show, but he also reminds the viewers that even though SAO is deeply flawed, there's nothing wrong with enjoying it. That lack of consideration by Shaman is probably part of the reason why my blood boils every time I hear him call something trash, because he thinks he's so right when he's clearly not. My second issue with Shaman is his video structure, because there is no structure. He just rambles on until he feels like he's either made his point or caused the viewer to be so confused that they simply must agree with him. His videos can be boiled down to, this thing you like? It's actually bad. And dumb. And you're both bad and dumb for liking it. Now I'm going to throw out negative buzzwords that vaguely back up my argument. So yeah, that's why it's the worst thing in existence. Crazy thing though, is that there are people who are actually supporting him. Granted, there are typically more comments calling him out than not, but the fact that he has any audience at all is a bit baffling. The reason I think he does is because people like to feel unique. People like to feel like they have an opinion that no one else has, which also makes them feel smart. And the content Shaman delivers reaffirms these feelings for his viewers on a weekly basis. However, the question of whether or not Shaman's views are genuine or not is still unanswered, so I'll end this video with a request. Shaman, if you find this video, and you've made it all the way to the end, I ask you to come clean. To confirm or deny my suspicion that you're manufacturing hot takes for views. You don't have to make it public, you can just DM me on Twitter or something similar. I'm sure you wouldn't want everyone to know your secret. That's why this is a selfish request. I just need to know this for myself. Also, fuck you for trashing One Piece.